All right, let's talk about Matthew Stafford, who is just a couple years removed from winning a Super Bowl. It was 3 seasons ago he won a Super Bowl. 2 seasons ago he got injured, wasn't able to play the whole year, and so last year he was. I think there's some questions as to how good was he going to be with the Rams, and I think he put together another really good year, accumulating with a really good postseason game against the Lions. And it does, I think, if I'm a Rams fan, give me hope for future years. And I want to get into the film and talk about what exactly he does so well for the Rams and why I think that there is still plenty of hope that the Rams could be good this following year because of Stafford. First, let's start off with just something simple, something like this, where what's going to happen is you see the concept on the screen where essentially Stafford's going to run a play action and roll out towards the top of the screen. We'll get to the rest of the play in a second, but let's just see how this goes. Stafford takes the snap. He is going to run a play action, and right here, there is an unblocked Lions player off the edge, which is, in part by design by the Rams, but still, this is not a good situation for the Rams to be in. Usually you expect that player to focus more on the handoff. Did not work out here. A lot of players would be in trouble, especially when it's someone like Stafford who, isn't a complete statue out there, but certainly isn't known for his mobility. That's not what he typically does. The Rams do have a shallower route right there that is open, but again, it's going to be difficult just to get to the ball there. First, you have to read this play and get it over there, know that you should get it over there quickly, and then you have to be able to find a way to get the throw over there in a way where it's not going to be dangerously batted up in the air. But watch Stafford with a sidearm throw as he's getting hit, really make a nice throw, and they're able to gain some yards there. It wasn't anything crazy in that game, but hey, a 6-yard gain on 1st and 10, that's a massive advantage as opposed to, even if Stafford maybe got rid of the ball and got an incompletion, that's still, 2nd and 4 versus 2nd and 10 is huge, and especially if he got sacked, that would have been a real bad situation. So these little advantages that he gives you are definitely very impactful. And then also, of course, something like this, which is kind of what he's become known for at this point, which is, the way the concept works, it's zone coverage, and you see the route. It's a route that can work, again, hopefully get into a gap in coverage. But one of the things that we talk about a lot on this channel is how throwing to an open receiver doesn't necessarily mean that as a quarterback, you just were lucky enough to have an open receiver. Sometimes you're doing stuff to help that receiver get more open. Watch how when Stafford takes the snap, you're going to see him look, but he's looking more towards the sideline. And you see the Lions player who, I made a white arrow, which is a little bit more difficult to see, but you see him kind of moving up in that direction, moving towards the top of the screen, because that's where Stafford is looking. But that is not where Stafford is intending to throw this football. You see the receiver on this play, Puka Nacua, he's not running towards the sideline at all. He's going to be running more over the middle. Stafford is using his eyes to get players out of position, which is something he has, again, become very known for. The no-look passes or just the look right before you're throwing passes. Watch Stafford on this one, eventually gets it over to Nacua and really essentially juked out a linebacker with his eyes. You see how that linebacker kind of moved more towards the sideline before finally falling over, and because of that, you're able to get a completion. Maybe that play would have worked anyway, but Stafford just made it work a lot better by what he was able to do. These are the things he is capable of. I also think it just helps that, hey, I mean, if Cooper Kupp is healthy for an entire season next year, this could be a different offense, because him and Nacua together could be electric. I mean, Nacua had a great year last year, including this play. It's a 3rd down and 1, and it's essentially a one-on-one matchup on the outside against Sutton. And watch how you're going to see Nacua makes a little move, and when Stafford makes the throw, look at how wide open Puka Nacua is right here. And Stafford's just the kind of guy where he's not going to miss these throws. You see Stafford is going to hit Nacua in stride. Nacua doesn't just get a big completion. He gets into the end zone for a touchdown. And if you have Nacua and Cooper Kupp doing stuff like this, Stafford is the kind of guy where if someone's getting open, he's noticing they're getting open, and he can put the ball in their area. So because of kind of that combination, that's what makes this, potentially so deadly. Although I would say, going over to something like this, I do think one thing that is probably a fair critique of the Rams is sometimes a lack of wide receiver depth. Like, for example, this play, it's kind of one of those classic, one-on-one matchup on the outside situations. It's, two safeties are starting to play deep, but it's going to be more of a robber concept where one covers over the middle shallow, one covers over the middle deep. And you see right here, it's going to be Robinson. That's the receiver Stafford's throwing to. Throws a little bit off balance. Not a huge window, but Stafford's actually going to do a pretty good job on this one. as you see, wasn't quite able to be complete, but was still a pretty good throw. You do wonder now if, Tutu Atwell, who I thought played well last year, if you can get a healthy season out of Atwell, Cup, and Nakua, like that could be 3 good receivers, and maybe you could have some of these, some of these are turning into completions and could help out his passer rating and stuff like that a little more. But honestly, one of the things I think really helps out Stafford and really what makes him special is something like this, where it's going to be, a pretty, actually, I wouldn't say a pretty simple concept, but a little bit complex of a concept on a key 4th down and 5 in that playoff game, where Cooper Kupp is in motion from the offense's right to the offense's left. He's essentially going to get outside the numbers. You have a setup route, kind of, hoping to clear out that area a little bit. This is what McVay likes to do, right? He likes to get guys in motion, and before the defense can adjust, the play is off and, someone's hopefully getting open. But watch how Stafford takes the snap, and he's also reading the play quickly and getting the ball over there quickly. And that's the other aspect of Stafford that really works well with this Sean McVay style offense, is he makes his decisions quickly. He's able to read these plays and get the ball over there quickly. And every now and then it gets him in trouble, but not too often. Watch as Kupp makes the grab and they pick up that key 4th down situation. I mean, that's just a huge play by the Rams. But again, it's Stafford kind of fitting with this McVay scheme so perfectly. I think Stafford is a really interesting player because I do think there is, I've talked a lot of positives about Stafford, but I do think there is a fair negative about Stafford as well, which is he doesn't always play like this guy. I think that, again, Lions fans will tell you, I think even Rams fans have seen enough of him now, they'll tell you, he is not elite elite Matthew Stafford every single game. There are games where he will kind of have his low moments, but it does feel like in the big spots, especially with the Rams, he's been fantastic. He was amazing in that Super Bowl run and was really good in the Lions game despite the ultimate loss. I thought he had a really good game there as well. So at the end of the day, if you're good enough to get you to the playoffs in the regular season, and then you take your game up a next level and play awesome in the playoffs, well, I think most fans will certainly take that. So even the negative doesn't really feel like it's that unfortunate of a negative, even though I do think it's fair to bring up. So there's just so many things, really some, I want to say little things, but really they're flashy things. Like, he's a flashy player who for whatever reason doesn't get talked about that way. People almost act like he's boring when you watch his film. It's anything but. It's no look passes, it's sidearmed throws, it's throwing to guys that I wouldn't have expected you to throw to, but you did it in a way where it's still somehow getting open and making things work. So as a whole, it's really hard not to look at Stafford and just kind of be blown away sometimes by some of the stuff he's able to pull off. And yeah, I mean, listen, the Rams, they've lost pieces. They lost Jalen Ramsey, a year ago now. They lost Donald this offseason, so due to him retiring, that's going to hurt. But they've done some things to help out the secondary, and with this offense, if they can stay healthy, and Stafford can still play like how he did here, you can never quite count them out. They're definitely the team that you don't want to play in the playoffs for sure. At least that's what I think. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from y'all. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.